Hi everyone, I'm Econael and I'm here today with ThatOtherPhil and Dan. Hello guys.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty well. So this is gonna be a one-shot podcast where we're gonna talk about what it's like to start a Let's Play channel. So Phil, why did you start making videos and what was the reason or the trigger for you starting your hobby?
Um, well, to be honest, I've been playing video games forever, and I didn't even know that making videos, playing video games for YouTube was a thing. I didn't know it existed until the episode of South Park where they featured PewDiePie. I didn't,
Really?
yeah, I
Wow.
didn't even know it was a thing, and so I was
Wow.
watching the last season, and I saw it, and I was like, "Who the hell is this PewDiePie guy?" So I watched a couple of his videos, and I was like, "No way!" Like this is what I'm gonna do then. I'm just gonna sit and play video games and record it and give it to the world. So that's how I started.
I knew that episode was going to doom everybody.
That's where, yeah, that's where I don't want to say the phrase saturated, but I guess a lot of people were similarly inspired as I
Yeah.
was.
It didn't even occur to me that the episode is absolutely great. I love it. Didn't occur to me that it would make people wanna do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that it's pretty late to be aware of the Let's Play phenomenon.
I
But
would
wow,
say
it's
so.
interesting. So Dan, how about you?
Well, I've been watching them for years and years. I mean, I've been watching at least the Rooster Teeth guys basically for since they started. I mean, I know their original stuff, Red versus Blue. That's not Let's Play, but I've been with them basically their entire run. And so when they started in with Achievement Hunter and making Let's Plays there, I saw those. But actually, I became really fully aware of it when I was stranded at my dad's place. It was just without internet, and so I would go down to a public library, and I was interested in something about Minecraft at the time. I don't remember. I was just looking up recent updates or something, and I did a YouTube search and downloaded a video, and got introduced to somebody's Let's Play channel and started downloading all of their Let's Plays just to keep me entertained in my non-internet time.
Mm-hmm.
But as for deciding to do it myself, I mean, after watching those for a while and realizing, how little it takes to get into it and just seeing how bad some people are at it,
Oh yeah,
I
Yes.
realized, I think I could step in here and probably do, if not necessarily a better job, at least a decent job.
yeah.
As long
And
as you don't get a Retsu Parade.
yeah, yeah, that would not be pleasant. But then on top of that, I also had the justification for purchasing a very expensive desktop that yeah, I spent a bunch of student loan money on a sort of expensive computer because I really wanted to play DayZ, or
Mm.
DayZ for the European viewers or listeners rather.
Nice.
And yeah, it sort of needed an extra excuse. So I was like, well, if I start using it to make videos, I can at least use it as, write it off as a business expense.
Nice.
I can identify with that a little bit. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my origin story.
Hmm.
So where did you get started, Eco?
Well, for me, I've been watching Let's Play videos for years on YouTube. I've seen Northern Lion and Creparian and Force uh, and maybe Total Biscuit since they were pretty small channels. And I've always liked to get informed about new games and check out. I always want to know about a lot of new games that come out and do I want to play them? What would they be like? And I've actually not been watching traditional Let's Plays for a long while until I started watching Creparian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to watch some Diablo 3 stuff before it came out. It was very interesting. Force had a lot of stuff in the beta and Creparian as well. Um, I was a huge Diablo 2 player. I've played maybe something northwards of 3,000 hours of Diablo 2 back in the days.
Wow.
And I was super, super hyped for Diablo 3. And I think it was the last game that I pre ordered. I stopped right after that. But still, I was really hungry for those videos. And I don't enjoy playing Hearthstone myself, but I enjoy watching Creparium play Hearthstone.
Mm.
It's more condensed, a lot of the wait times and the bad runs, etc., and the deck building is just not in the video, and I just watch the interesting stuff. And I've always liked the gaming content on YouTube, and I've always had this feeling that I want to do this as well. And I've always had a lot of just knowledge about video encoding from other sources. And I think it was a year ago, I got convinced to take some singing lessons from a friend who's singing, and she said, why don't you do it as well? And I've always wanted to sing, and so I just took a couple of singing lessons. Anyway, that's not the point. Singing lessons are not cheap.
No.
And after a handful of singing lessons, I thought, well, with that money I could have bought a really decent mic, a really good mic. And I was thinking, yeah, it would be a good investment just for developing my voice and my singing skills, which are still pretty basic. But anyway, to get a mic so that I can just record myself, and I wanted to be able to listen to myself while I sing. So I wanted to have a mic where you can plug in the headphones into the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the Yeti, and while buying it, I also thought, well, since I have a mic, I could also record some Let's Plays. And it was a couple of months later, but it was one weekend where I thought, okay, today's the day, I'm gonna start doing this. And it was also because a friend of mine was studying for his Met finals, and he watches a lot of Let's Plays while on the second monitor while he's learning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during the Easter holiday. And he said, you're playing all day. Why don't you stream it so I can watch you? I'd rather watch you than just someone else. And I did stream on Twitch for him. And then I think this was not the reason, but the trigger for me to start recording. And it was only 1 or 2 weeks afterwards that I started to record my first Let's Play.
Huh.
Very nice. Now, you mentioned singing. I'm just curious, what type of singing? Like opera or what?
No, just pop and rock and stuff like that.
Okay.
Queen and stuff, yeah.
The good stuff.
Not gonna sing in the podcast.
I wouldn't expect you to.
We'll see. Give it a little time.
So, Phil, do you have a theme or a niche? Do you have a specific type of videos that you make on your channel?
I don't know. I think I'm still trying to find it. You know what I mean? For a little while, I was playing just a normal. Very boring. I think if you go to my first videos, it's I start right at the very end of The Evil Within, and I had no idea what I was doing. My camera was terrible. My microphone was terrible. You could hear the echo from the game in the microphone, and so then I started a game. I don't remember which one I started playing. I think Resident Evil from the beginning, and then I realized, maybe I want to do vlogs. Maybe I want to do like the typical YouTube challenges, and I don't really know what it was. So I tried that first vlog, I think it was 14 questions, and I think I might continue to do that. I think I might do other vlogs, and I just did a rant the other day I haven't published yet. So I don't really know yet. I think I have a mixture of some things. Some videos I just do straight plays, like The Order. I just sit and play it, no intro, no outro. But then I have some, Expendabros, my favorite video, where I put the ridiculous editing in a Castlevania, where I edit it down to almost nothing, but I put in a bunch of, twist the camera around, add in cartoon characters, and so I don't really know. I guess whichever one takes off the most, whichever one gets the most feedback, I guess is what direction I'll go more towards. But I like to change it up. I don't like to do anything. I like to be consistent, but I don't like to be simple. I don't want to be typecast into one specific type of video.
Mm. Yeah, I like those two videos. I've seen the Bro Force, the over the top editing fits the over the top style of the game.
Yes.
And I think the what's it called, Castlevania video prompted me to follow you, subscribe to you, and then watch your stuff and such.
Oh, really?
And contact you as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I think I saw it on the Let's Play subreddit.
Mhm.
Maybe it was a Feedback Friday or Answer Sunday or something like this, and I saw the
Yeah.
video and really liked it.
Mhm.
And then the contact started.
Right. Yeah, I remember that very well when you first reached out to me. And I think when I started seeing your videos, I'm going to predict here before I ask you what your niche is. I think I'm going to predict that it's more of a description, sort of like a walkthrough, sort of hand-holding. Because when I watch your games, when I watch you play, it's like I don't have to read a tutorial or a manual. I just watch, Econael play it, and I'm like, hey, so that's how you do it. That's what all this stuff is. And I remember the headache you had with trying to put the the legend on the side, but you did a phenomenal job
Oh,
with it
yeah.
anyway. It was it looks like it's part of the game. And for a minute, I watched the video after you said you're going to put one in. I was like, is this the one he's talking about, or is this is this part of the game? And
Yeah,
so you did an excellent job with it.
I thought that was
Yeah.
a really good effect too.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a huge headache because it was when I started. It's by the way, it's the first episode of the Nuclear Throne Let's Play that we're talking about, and it was the weekend where I learned how to do editing with Blender. I did editing on the Let's Look At and before only on the Pivot Review. And it took me, I think, about 3 hours to do that editing because it's dynamically showing the info of the game on the side. And then also the rendering took forever, and I had every technical issue under the moon. And it took me 2 whole days to put that one episode out. And it was,
Jeez.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was,
I gotta say, I feel like you're sort of a little bit spoiled on the the render time area, because I think most people are used to dealing with video editors, and so they're used to sort of the extended render times. They're not used to just running it straight through the command prompt and,
oh, yeah.
rendering a half-hour video in, 15 minutes or less?
I'm not as patient as other people have never been. Yeah, so what type of videos do you do then? I mean, do you have a type or niche or what?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I've kind of slipped into a Kerbal Space Program playthrough right now, and that's probably going to go on for a long time. And
Mhm.
I feel like with the audience that's attracting, I want to, or sorry, I just got a little pop-up distracted me. I feel like with the audience that's attracting, they might be a little more interested in the sort of more cerebral games, things that require a bit more thought and planning and things.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I'm going to stick necessarily to just that, because basically my attitude has been I'm just going to play exactly what I want to play
Yeah.
and just, try and make good content out of it.
Right.
Mm.
Well, I think
I
if you
mean,
if you play what you want, I think you almost automatically get better content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because I mean, I played through Portal 2, and it's a really story-heavy game, and I was, it was like the second game I played through, and I feel like that was kind of a hindrance on developing, better commentary, because
Yeah.
you're constantly pausing to listen to the dialogue and trying to think of ways to interact with it, or just I don't know. It was a different sort of experience.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
did.
Yeah.
It's a very similar experience with the order. I think that's why ultimately I just threw them out there each video with almost no editing. Like I edited out multiple deaths. I'd probably died 100 more times than you actually see in my videos, but I just wanted to throw them out there because it's it's really story heavy, and I had literally shit to say about anything that was going on in the game. And I'm running into the same problem now with Batman Arkham Asylum. I just have nothing to say about it.
Mm. Yeah, I've been scared of starting. I actually want to play Shadow Warrior again, the new one, because I really like the game, and I thought, hey, I like the game, so let's do a let's play of it. But it has so much talking. I mean, when you play it, it's good that you have this spirit type character who's talking to you all the time, so you don't feel alone when you play. But for let's play, man, you gotta shut up all of the time or talk over him, and it's weird.
And what game is this?
Shadow Warrior.
Shadow Warrior.
It's a first-person hack and slash. I mean, it's technically a first-person shooter, but it has a lot of melee and casting elements in it.
Oh, okay.
When you play it, it does feel like a hack and slash to me. But it's linear story-based, and it has a lot of story, a lot of cutscenes, a lot of talking, and that's why I'm not sure whether I should let's play on it, because when I do my videos, I wanna provide some value to the viewer. That's the first let's play that I started. I renamed it to Learn to Play Dungeons of Dreadmore, because Dungeons of Dreadmore is a traditional roguelikes, and as traditional roguelikes go, they have quite some complexity to them. And I wanted to make it easier for people to get into it. I mean, it's basically the gateway traditional roguelike for people, because it has the fanciest graphics and audio and stuff compared to other traditional roguelikes. And I wanted to make it even easier for new people to get into the game, so when you watch those videos, you don't have to know anything about the game. And that's why I've been trying to do with other videos. and I really want to do more let's look at videos and maybe reviews and stuff like that. But most of the time, like most videos, they're just long play videos where I don't cut out much. There's some editing here and there, but it's mostly you watching me play. And yeah, but I really like to experiment with new formats, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. The only thing I know is that I'm gonna be playing videos that games that I like.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Dungeons of Dreadmore is I had been playing it for something like 70 hours before I started the Let's Play,
Wow.
but it was it was just playing. But when I did the Let's Play and I talk about every aspect, every strategy, every choice,
Yeah, that gives
and
you quite an experience base to draw from.
yes, and I was also consciously aware of all of the choices in the game, which there was more or less of a subconscious process before,
Hmm.
and it kind of made the game a little bit boring to me because I started to notice that the choices were getting similar, and I actually stopped the Let's Play series of Dungeons of Dreadmore because I had started on medium difficulty and it became way too easy. I was just face rolling everything, and then I tried test recording of hard difficulty, and it was still too samey and easy for me because I have consciously talked about all of strategy and positioning, etc.
You're just that good.
And yeah, now it's I want to say it's different when you talk about it. Then a lot of the processes become conscious that are subconscious when you just play it, and that made the game a little bit stale for me. And I wanted to play something else. But I've never been someone who can play one game for years. I've played my buddies are calling me the walking game encyclopedia because I've played thousands of games, and I can always name some game as a reference when we talk about games.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have played a lot of games.
Yeah, that used to be me.
Yeah, but even if I don't have a lot of time, I play them just for 15 minutes or half an hour just to experience it. I'm hungry for new experiences, but this also makes me a little bit restless, and I don't think I can play one game for a really long time. I think Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft were maybe the games that I played the longest,
Yep.
and I played World of Warcraft for 5 months, then for 2, and then for 1, and that's it. And this is basically nothing compared to what other people have played
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I never got into World of Warcraft, but I did play a decent amount of, well, I guess an indecent amount of EverQuest 2 and 1.
Yes. That was my start on. I want to say that was my start on MMOs. Was
Yep.
EverQuest, and I had no clue what I was doing. And I remember playing on a horrible connection, and every time I go to Kelethon, I'd plummet to my death from lag. And,
Oh, yeah.
trying to go up the lift. But honestly,
Yep.
college is where I got into World of Warcraft, and my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, made me quit. So if I didn't quit playing, I probably wouldn't be married today.
Very nice.
Good choice.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not important. Screw EverQuest.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, did something surprise you about making Let's Plays? And I'm gonna answer it myself, so you know what I'm talking about. What surprised me when I did the Hotline Miami 2 Let's Play. Hotline Miami 2 has a lot of silent dialogue. It's not there are no voice actors, there's just text. And so I was talking and acting out the dialogue.
Mhm.
And I usually don't care for story in games. I used to when I was younger. I played a lot of Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment type of games with tons of dialogue, but that doesn't interest me as much nowadays anymore. Maybe because I've seen the limitations of what you can do with storytelling in games. I'm more interested in gameplay. And I didn't care one bit for the story in Hotline Miami 1. I really loved the game itself. But reading all of the dialogue aloud and acting it out made me genuinely interested in the story of Hotline Miami 2.
Really?
And I didn't expect that. Yeah, I totally didn't expect it, but I really wanted to know, what's going to happen. And I was caught up in the story. And another thing is that I'm really surprised by how many different skills you can pick up when doing videos for YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was definitely really surprised by just how much I enjoy the video editing process. I mean, a lot of it's sort of kind of rote, just repetition and doing the same thing over and over again, so it's a little bit mindless at times, but just, learning the video editor and figuring out how to make interesting transitions and make different, dialogue parts flow together and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's,
Hmm.
I don't know, I never expected that to be something that I'd, actively engage with and enjoy.
Right. I
Yeah.
guess the surprising thing for me was I don't know if it qualifies as the answer, but I think what surprised me the most is how supportive of it my wife actually was because, like I said, I play video games constantly, nonstop, and she sometimes, I mean, I can imagine, from her position it gets irritating because while she's trying to talk or do something, I'm just sitting here playing a video game. But when I started like actually doing this, and recording it, sometimes I'll come home from work and I want to just lay down and go to sleep or do anything else, and she goes, "Are you gonna make a video today? Are you gonna make a video today?" And then when it comes to editing, she's actually way better at it than I am. So
Oh.
yeah, we spent a fortune, and I mean I hate to say it, but we spent a fortune almost on like a pipe dream of it. Like every time we got something, it was like, oh well, there's this better thing out there. Let's buy that. So let's buy a new microphone, or let's pay the monthly
Mm,
fee and get Adobe Premiere, and so we can
Mm.
get Photoshop and everything else. And so we got all this fancy software, bought all kinds of RAM and SSDs and all these things, totally upgraded the computer like you did, Dan. Sort of an excuse, and
yep.
and I love it, and she loves it, and so this has sort of become our combined hobby. So outside of work and outside of everything else, this is what we do when we go home. It's like, well, let's see what Video Econael made. Let's see what the game gals are up to. Let's get on Twitter and let's follow these people and let's read about this stuff. And it just became like a combined thing. And I think that's what surprised me the most is how supportive she is of it. So it makes it that much easier for me to actually sit down and do it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That sounds fantastic.
I definitely hear you on blowing money on solid state drives. I just did
Mm.
that myself.
Yeah,
I
it's
was struggling with
bittersweet.
trying to record 60 frame per second video, thinking I was limited by my hard drives
Mm.
because most of or all my raw footage was going to a 3 terabyte hard disk drive that I had converted. It used to be an external that I converted to internal,
Oh, okay.
and so I was thinking that it was probably a little lower, lower speed because of that. It was supposed to be a USB 3.0, and I was running it off SATA,
Mm-hmm.
and well, it turned out that that was completely wrong, and buying the solid state drive was totally unnecessary,
Right.
and I was just being limited by software and
Hey, but
other
now you
types of
have one,
hardware. Indeed, indeed.
Yeah. That was my
Although,
problem too. Is everything's. I mean, I still have it that way. It's all going to the hard disk drive as raw data, and then mostly what I use the solid state drive for is I have my SSD, and that's how like Windows is on it. You know what I mean? So I boot the computer on that,
Mm.
hmm
and most of the operations run faster. And then I think I got a external hard drive, and like I've read up on all this, and like while I'm at the store, I'm an expert, and then 2 days after I install it all, I've forgotten everything there is to know about it. Um, so like I think I have three external hard drives simply because when I would do the Wednesday Friends Day videos, I go to my friend's house and I would always leave one at home. So I need to put the stuff on a hard drive so I can take it home. So I just have to now go to the store and buy a new one. And
Mm.
God forbid, I just wait and go back tomorrow with my hard drive. I need it. I need it today. And
Yeah.
so I have all this ridiculous storage that hopefully I never use up. I think like every couple weeks I just purge all the stuff that I didn't use for video. I just purge it.
Wow.
Mm.
I actually still have all of everything that I've, either recorded or created. I mean, all the raw footage, all of the raw files, and all of the edited and final files. I have
Wow.
everything still.
Hmm.
And
Don't don't you record raw files, like not encoded files? Aren't they huge?
well, early on I was recording everything through Elgato,
Mm.
and so they're big but not insanely big. Like, 10 gigs for an hour roughly.
Huh.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
That's
But
pretty.
okay.
yeah, but like I said, it's on a 3 terabyte hard drive, so that thing
Yeah.
it's maybe a quarter full at this point, and
Mm.
filling up faster and faster. But I've also found more effective ways of recording, so now my raw files are considerably smaller, which is
Mm.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a question that comes up quite often in the Let's Play subreddit. People are asking, what do I do with the footage? And I didn't know at the beginning, so I just kept everything. But after a while, I realized I could redo the... what's the raw footage for? To re-edit the whole video. I could do that, but then why would I do that instead of making a new video? And why would I just kill a video that already has views just to re-upload it? So that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So I just went ahead and deleted all of the raw stuff, and I just keep the finished video, because you never know, it might somehow get deleted on YouTube. Your account might be hacked, or YouTube might go down. Haha. But you know, just they're small anyway. They're already encoded and they're pretty small, and I just only keep the raw stuff and the intermediate files until the video is public, and after that I just throw it in the bin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really even have any reason for holding on to all the files the way that I am. I guess it's just sort of a digital hoarding mentality.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I figure I'm not running out of space, so why delete anything yet?
Well, I keep if I made it into a video and uploaded it, I do keep that stored. It's the the portions that I cut out, the stuff I didn't use. I wound up deleting that after a couple weeks, but I kick myself every time because I want to do like a blooper video almost. Like if you guys could see the amount of times that I do an intro, it looks nice and smooth on YouTube. Hey, I'm that other Phil. Welcome to whatever. But if you were to see how many times I just stopped mid sentence, and actually I think my latest one I kept it. Yeah, like what the hell was I thinking? I said the wrong game before. I've added new names. I've called myself the wrong name. So I almost want to keep all that stuff and keep it as like a blooper reel. If I become, world renowned and that stuff becomes interesting to somebody, maybe one day I'd be able to put it up there, but who knows?
As long as it's funny, it will be interesting today.
Yeah, I don't know. I've sort of gotten the habit of, doing multiple takes of things that I'm saying. If I screw up, flub a line or whatever. And I feel like it's almost a bad habit because it's really complicating the editing process.
Yeah, absolutely.
You say something wrong and you're like, all right, I'll do it again and we'll use the good one. But then when you're in the video,
you got to watch it.
You have to make a cut.
Which one's the good one,
Yeah. And then you're having, these extended portions of video where, certain things that you're saying tie in with what's on the video, but certain other things don't. And so when you move those around, then you need to cut the video to refit. And just a mess.
I've wiped entire projects because of that. You know what? I quit. I'll come back to this in an hour.
Oh man, I recently recorded this Let's Look at of an Android game, and the way I recorded it was in 3-minute chunks, so I had to resync the audio to the video manually every 3 minutes. That was fun.
Man, I hate that. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm gonna say then. That is what surprised me about doing a Let's Play channel is, like, I have this weird feeling like if I purchase something, it should just work. You know what I mean? With very minimal effort, I push on, and then everything just works on its own without any involvement from me. So when I started recording on the Elgato, and then I played, and I have the webcam, I have the microphone, and I have the game, and I pressed play on all three at the same time. You know what I mean? They all started recording simultaneously. Why are they out of sync? You know what I mean? Why is this happening? And then how do I fix it? And it took me probably 4 months to realize that I can use the Elgato, and it records in separate files, you know what I mean? So now that I'm not using the Elgato editing software, I can put all those separate files into Premiere. And then if I have to, I can drag them around and cut them off and make it so they synchronize. But when they're not synced, it's like, that'll make me wipe the project. I'm like, I lose my mind if it just does not synchronize. I hate going through and meticulously moving individual things and cutting individual things, because like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm supposed to spend the chunk of this time on editing the video and making it good, not making it synchronized. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I pretty quickly figured out how to not do the syncing manually. I open Audacity and Open Broadcast Software, and I have Open Broadcast Software has global hotkeys where it doesn't have the window doesn't have to be focused to register the hotkey. Audacity has hotkeys but not global. So what I do is I set up an image just from the game or just my channel banner or something like that as the lowest layer in OBS, and then the game capture is on an upper layer. The game is alt tabbed, and I started recording with the hotkey when I focus Audacity, So it starts recording and it has the game image or whatever. It's not just black, and I don't have to edit it in post.
Mm.
And then I just switch to the game and continue, and then I just have always taken out the first 700 milliseconds in Audacity, and it's synced.
Oh, really?
Up until a couple of weeks ago, where I had to manually sync a video because for no reason it wasn't 700 milliseconds anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still I don't. But now I started doing the trick where you put your headphones on the mic and click some stuff around in the menu so you can sync it later.
Right.
And I do the syncing and mixing all in Audacity. I don't use editors except for a handful of videos, reviews, let's plays, or stuff like that. For the regular let's play episodes, I try to not touch an editor so it goes much faster.
Mm-hmm.
I can still do some basic cuts and stuff. I just write down the time and then do everything in the console, and it's much faster. And I've already gotten used to that workflow.
OBS was my biggest headache. I think I had more problems with OBS than anything else, and it's because I didn't know, about Elgato having its own files. So what I would do is I'd connect the Elgato and connect that to OBS and connect everything to OBS and run everything through there. But that's where I ran into most of my sync issues. And so sometimes, changing the milliseconds, like 800 millisecond delay, was perfect and everything would be fine. But then I turn it on, the next day and nothing synchronized at all. And I just could not wrap my head around what the problem is. And everything on all the forums, all the threads about like the help threads all said it's Elgato's fault. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to use OBS anymore. And so I stopped using it. And actually now I don't have, the only sync issues I have now are the rare ones where I have to actually go into like Premiere and drag little things around. But it's not nearly as bad as it became with OBS.
Yeah, talking about sync issues, when I very first started recording things on PC, I didn't have good enough capture software. I didn't know about OBS. I didn't realize it was free. And so I was using my Elgato for the PC footage. And
wow.
In order to set that up right so that it would get audio from the computer through HDMI, I had to end up setting up, stereo mix or something so that it actually mirrors the audio out through my headphones and then copies that onto the HDMI and sends that out to the Elgato. And in the process of doing that, it also introduces another lag. So
right.
I actually had to have separate syncing, setups for the game audio and for the commentary audio.
Oh.
So I had to have, 3 different sync sort of routines going all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Just things that I would have to do both visually and with sounds and with commentary. And yeah.
Yep.
A little bit of a hassle, but once it became routine, it was easy to deal with.
I just learned last month that I have shadow play on my graphics card.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what shadow play was. It's always updating, says, oh yeah, now you can do this with shadow play and this with shadow play. I was like, I don't care. And so I closed it all out, but I just figured out what it is.
That has been the only way that's been the only way I've managed to get 60 frame per second footage.
Yep.
I've tried everything else, and for some reason I just can't get it out of, DxTory or OBS or anything. So now I know about shadow play, and I get 60 frames per second and no performance hit and tiny file sizes and beautiful quality.
It's unbelievable.
Man, imagine that.
My whole world just opened up, when I realized what it does. And it's just this little icon, Alt F9, boom, you're recording. And it was perfect and beautiful. So every PC game I record now it's the easiest thing. So I almost want to convert completely to it and just stop with the PlayStation and the Xbox.
You know what the greatest thing about Shadowplay is? It can do a running buffer where it records the last 20 minutes of your playing whenever you play all the time.
Really?
And then when something interesting happens, you can hit a hotkey and then it just writes the last 20 minutes to a file.
Huh.
So after something interesting, for example, you're playing GTA 5 and then something really hilariously happens, you just hit the hotkey and you have it saved and you can edit it into a video.
Oh,
that's fantastic.
And just FYI, it's not default set at 20 minutes. I think the default is 5 minutes.
Oh.
It's variable. You can set that from like 30 seconds up to 20 minutes or a half an hour or something like that.
I didn't know you could do any of that.
But yeah, you do need to be aware of the settings on that.
Fair enough.
So Phil, I'm curious, who is the other Phil?
That's a good question. So I wrestled with myself whether or not when I picked this name, do I ever tell anybody, why I picked it, and who is Phil and why am I that other one? And so the real answer is, I'm sure you guys know who DSP is.
No.
Oh, so Dark Side Phil. If you've never heard of him, look him up. He is a Let's Player. So he was very popular for a long time. A lot of people followed him. So he records his gameplay, just puts a camcorder in front of his TV, sort of sits behind it, plays the game and talks. And he's notoriously bad at video games. And he takes all his anger out on no matter what happens in the game. It was never his fault. It was always the game or some other, planet alignment, something along those lines that made it so he lost. So he called himself Dark Side Phil, and I was like, maybe I'll be Light Side Phil. I'll just be the opposite of this guy. Instead of being the angry video gamer, maybe I'll be the happy video gamer. That's like, maybe I'm okay at video games, but like if I lose, I take responsibility for it every once in a while. But then I decided that would be too direct. I'd be going the opposite of him, like too obviously. So I was like, you know what? He's Phil. I'm that other Phil, so instead of watching, if you're getting tired of watching his channel with him getting, raging out and losing subscribers and everything else, why don't you come over here? I play the same games, or I play some of their games, and, and I play them at least somewhat well. And if I lose, I just accept it, and you can all wallow in misery with me. And, so that's where the name came up. But I actually, believe it or not, I haven't been keeping to my original intention, which was to, sort of be, the antithesis of DSP. I just sort of been my own thing. So I don't know if maybe that was the origin of the name, but I think there's plenty of Phils out there. I think there's like an amazing Phil or something. So I'll just be the other him, whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, one thing about your name, I actually really like the way you've set up for, calling your fans others. That's
right.
I like that.
Yeah, I actually, a lot of friends thought that was a terrible idea. Like they said, well, I said, what am I going to call them? Like everyone has their thing for them, and for what their fans are, what their subscribers are. And I said, what about the others, And they're like, well, that's kind of cool, but like no one's going to get it. There's only 10 of them right now. And so, so I was like, how about like something like badass, like the legion of others, like let's have it be that, because like everyone wants to be part of a legion, you know what I mean? Even though there's only right now there's only I think 46, but like eventually there's going to be, we're going to be legion because we are many, and that will eventually be that. So I'm glad you like it. I'm glad somebody does.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting and it makes sense with your name. I mean, I've been, crosses my mind every once in a while. I'm like, what the hell do I call fans?
Right.
Like, I don't have some kind of name for that, at least that rides, that
fits into your own name. Yeah,
fits with my name. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to think of anything creative. So
you
could call him Spirals.
Spirals, yeah.
I don't like it.
No, fair enough.
I like the name ThatOtherPhil because it just there are so many people called Phil, and I think it works even if you don't know the Dark Side dude. I've never heard of him, but still the name was interesting. And by the way, Dan, why Infinite Spiral?
Well, I mean, it kind of goes pretty far back. I mean, the 8 in the middle, that was specifically a branding choice. I mean, I actually have the correct version of Infinite Spiral, just the word. I have that as a Gmail account, and I wanted that to be my channel name, but I couldn't secure that across all the platforms that I wanted. And so throwing the 8 in the middle was just a way to actually secure it across literally every place I could think of. I mean, seriously, I even have a MySpace. It's ridiculous.
Nice. And let me just say this. I never noticed this before, and I feel kind of like an idiot, but I just realized that the 8 and Infinity are... like my mind is spinning right now because I've looked at this name probably 100 times and I just got the branding idea behind it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I've actually, like I said, the 8 was originally just a branding choice so I could get it across everything, but I've actually grown to appreciate it. I actually really like the way that it worked out. And just, I don't know, the Infinite Spiral name itself
It looks good in the logos and in the banner.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Sort of
pretty
spent
badass.
a lot of time trying to figure out how to make it look, decent. But yeah, I don't know. The closest I can come to a real answer there is that it was inspired by Tool lyrics.
Ah.
but there's other levels and meanings to it. It's got personal meaning, and there's esoteric meanings and all sorts of stuff. It's a nice deep name.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it fits, man. It works. I like it.
Well, that's good. How about you, Eco?
Well, that's an old name from World of Warcraft times. I was playing the open beta, and I think there was like half a day or a day in between the beta and the full release of the game where I couldn't play. So nothing better to do than to think about, hey, I'm gonna be playing this character for maybe a year or so. It should probably have a better name. And I just took a bunch of. I was playing a night elf rogue, and so I just took a bunch of elvish sounding names, some proprietary, some imaginary. I deconstructed them into syllables, and I jumbled them together into names that are more or less pronounceable. A bunch of those were pretty crappy, and Econael sounded okay, and it was the shortest, and so I took it. And the thing is, in World of Warcraft, you interact with hundreds of people for a long time, every day, the same name in game, the same name in TeamSpeak and in the forums, and it starts to become ingrained in your, let's say, gamer identity. And then after World of Warcraft, the next game that I start, whenever I hit that, I want to have unique names because I hate you go somewhere and then every fucking name is taken. Write Ivan somewhere. My real name is Ivan. Millions of people are called that, and there's no service on the internet where Ivan isn't taken already.
Right.
So I really wanted to have something unique, and it's also a pain to come up with something unique that doesn't sound stupid. And so whenever I played a game after World of Warcraft, the first thing that came to mind was just Econael. And so when Steam came around, I just picked Econael. And when I decided to make the Let's Play channel, I just thought to myself, yeah, why not just take my gamer identity, because the name is probably somewhere in screenshots or scoreboards or what have you. In forums, I already have presence in forums and stuff, so I just called it Econael Gaming, so that that it's about games just from the name, because Econael itself doesn't say anything.
Right.
But
well, now it's you.
Yeah, now it's me.
There you
go. What was it like the very beginning when you started making Let's Plays? The first couple of weeks, what was it like for you guys? Dan, let's start with you.
Well, for me, it was, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of going through some other stuff at the time, trying to find work and other things, but basically I was just playing. I started with a crappy retro Nintendo game, and I really wanted to sort of get some experience before I started venturing into the more popular games and things that might actually get attention. I wanted to develop a bit more of my commentary style. I wasn't very confident starting out. I think you can hear that in my very first video. I sort of berate myself constantly, but yeah, it was, I don't know, I've been off to a very slow start. Just recently, my channel is starting to pick up more steam because of Kerbal Space Program, and I chose a really good time to start playing that as a series.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot of improvement in your commentary. It's fascinating how quickly people can improve. Just a handful of weeks, and the commentary has done leaps and bounds. It's very enjoyable nowadays.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it is interesting to see just how rapidly a person can improve. I mean, some of it just comes with the confidence of, getting into the habit of actually recording.
Yeah.
And, in the early days, I didn't have any experience to fall back on, and yeah.
Nice.
In my first series, The Dungeons of Dreadmore, by the way, that is actually the third or fourth series of Dungeons of Dreadmore that I have done, probably the third, and that is online. The first two I've deleted because at first I didn't even record the microphone separately from the game, and then I couldn't mix it afterwards, so I just deleted those. Those weren't any good. And I was insecure with the first Let's Plays for Dungeons of Dreadmore, And because I'm impatient myself, I watch I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I have close to 100 subscriptions, and I
Wow.
listen to tons of podcasts. And so I'm super impatient, and I watch when it's not about entertainment and it's about information. I often watch them at 150% speed, sometimes even twice the
Wow.
speed. You know, there's a setting in YouTube you can just play videos quicker,
Hmm.
and even for podcasts, I listen to them at twice the speed, and you can get used to it really quickly. When you have software, you can do small increments, and then you listen to it 10%, the next day 20%, and so forth. And after a couple of weeks, I've even listened to Total Biscuit because he's a very good speaker at I think 250%. I was still
Wow.
able to to understand what he says, so I'm that impatient, and I was a bit unsure about my commentary. It was a bit slow at first, and so I was actually speeding up those videos. You might it's apparent because the very first episode doesn't have it, but afterwards the Dungeons of Dreadmore stuff does have it, and I've stopped doing that. I think the Hotline Miami ones might be sped up a small percentage, something like 5% or something like this, but I don't do that anymore. But there was this lack of confidence at the very beginning when I didn't know what I was doing, and and this is how I compensated with technology.
Nice.
It's actually creative.
Very creative. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you actually need software that can do fast Fourier transformations so that the change in speed doesn't affect the pitch. And Audacity can do that, and FFmpeg can do that. But stuff like Lightworks can't do that. It has just regular speed up where the pitch changes when you change the speed.
Hmm.
So, Phil, what was the beginning for you like?
Well, for me, it was kind of, for lack of a better way to describe it, it was a nightmare. I had honestly no idea what I was doing. Like, if you go to my first video, I think I tried to play the Metal Gear Solid demo, the what is it, Ground Zeroes, and I played the Evil Within, but I was already at the end of the Evil Within because I'd been playing it on my own. And so I guess in the beginning, it was a mixture of poor quality equipment. Lack of knowledge on on how to put it all together and make it work, and then it was a lack of confidence as well. Like I got really shy as soon as I turned on the camera and the microphone. Suddenly I was like a different person, and I sort of froze in my seat. I couldn't move around. I felt like
Yeah.
I was like live. Like I was actively being watched, and so it
Mm.
was really unnerving. And in high school, I did some acting in high school, and I loved it.
Mhm.
When I got out on stage, it was like I took the whole stage, and the more people in the crowd, the better. But then I sort of shut off to that, and my personal life sort of changed my mindset and my perception on the world, and so I sort of closed off to everything. I became really private, and everything personal was super secret to me. And so sitting there in my in my room with the camera on, the microphone, and knowing I'm going to put it on YouTube and people I know are going to see it, I sort of clammed up, I guess is the best way to say it. So I tried to talk a lot. I tried to have good commentary, but I was ultimately camera shy. And it
Mhm.
took me, I don't know, I'd say it took me a good handful of games to get over that. And finally just being like, screw it. Who honestly cares what anybody really thinks about it? I got my first thumbs down on a video, and so like I sort of threw a fit. I was like, who the hell does this person think they are? Thumbs down. If you don't like it, then just don't watch it. Why you got to give it a thumbs down? And I lost a subscriber too, like at the same time. And so I think it was the same person, but I was like, you know what? I'm
Probably.
gonna go thumbs up every one of my own videos, and I'm gonna go like on my personal account, on my personal YouTube account. I'm gonna go subscribe to my channel, and it made me feel way better. And then suddenly I was like, you know what? I said, who cares? I'll just get on the
Yeah.
camera, make a total fool of myself, and the people who matter, who I'm like looking for, they'll appreciate it, they'll enjoy it, and everyone else can just
Mm.
go, watch a different channel. So in the beginning, it was nerves. That's all it was.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely ran into that stage fright problem too when I was first starting. I probably had like 2 or 3 false starts before I actually, committed to recording the whole thing. And even then,
Yeah.
throughout the video that I released, I say, well, probably no one will ever hear this or see this because I'm not going to release it. Well, I did.
Yep. Yep.
Phil, did you start out with the face cam right off the bat?
Yeah, actually, I did.
That's kind of brave.
Because the videos I watched, like I said when I first saw that South Park thing, so I started watching that. I watched
Yeah.
Markiplier and that
Mm.
ThatOtherPhil, and everybody had, had
Hmm.
their face out there, so I didn't know that it was an option not to have it. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was required, and so I put it out there, and I think that's part of it too, because I have to worry about my hair. I have to worry about the shirt I'm wearing. Like, is everyone gonna finally realize that
Mm.
like when Phil gets home, he just throws on the same hoodie and he just sits and plays video game in the same hoodie, And so sometimes like I'll have a legitimate wardrobe change. Like if I'm gonna play a game, I'll play two games in one day, But I don't want it to look like I
Yeah.
played two games in one day, so I'll go
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
my shirt and I'll sit down 10 minutes after, and like you guys will see the video 2 days later, so you'll think it was 2 days later, but it was literally 10 minutes apart. And
Mm.
so I guess that was it. I put the camera on, then I started to slowly realize that with the camera, people can see things like you can see my house because like I'm recording in my bedroom, so you can
Mm.
see what my damask bed, my covers look like, and what my headboard looks like, and what kind of stuff I have in the background. So like I immediately became conscious of these things with the webcam,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
before I knew how to use.
Identifiable things.
That's right. Like if someone breaks into my house, like they're gonna know. Well, if I go left here, then I'll be by the window. But
Mm.
sometimes like when I flip the camera to the other side of the screen, I mirror it, so you have no idea, which is the window on the east or the west. But then, sometimes I realize like sometimes when I say goodbye, like when I do my outro, I'll salute, and I always sort of salute with my right hand. But then I realize I have a beard, and I just saluted with my left hand. I'm like, damn it, and but I keep it anyway. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
If behind the scenes, I think I should start like actually uploading behind the scenes stuff so you guys can see how ridiculous I put on a good show. Like I try to be professional, you know what I mean? Because my whole career, my real life job is all about professionalism and looking good and watching how you talk and what you say to people, and real human resources sensitive. And so I tried to do that in my videos, and I was like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I do not,
Yeah.
I don't care. So it's who I really am. Like I think there was in Damn Lag, I think there was a thread about are you in your YouTube videos, or are you a character? And so I guess what I was trying to be is like super professional, like I was at work, but I was like, forget it. So I'm legitimately me in my YouTube
Mm.
videos.
That's the best thing you can do. That's the thing that people want to see. The real person behind the Let's Plays.
Mhm.
Playing characters, it gets stale. It's a bit sterile. It's not as real. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I don't know. I'm going to take a different stance on this and get a little philosophical. I think if you know that you're being recorded, you're automatically a character. I mean, just subconsciously, you're going to act a little bit different,
You
even
know
if
what?
you're
I
not
think
noticing it.
you are absolutely right. I think, well, my argument is I think when you first turn it on, you are, and so it's almost like reality TV. So you can almost hear it sometimes. Like if you tune your ear to it, you can hear that someone knows they're being recorded and someone who doesn't know they're
Yeah.
being recorded. And
Mhm.
I think with work, you can at least be yourself, just obviously know you're being recorded. So like if I'm sitting here playing a game, like I get that droopy jaw, you know what I mean? Like I sit quiet and like I start to drool because I'm like, there's nothing to say. I'm sitting here by myself. So I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
really be talking if I was sitting here playing. So I only am because of the camera and microphone. But
Yes.
ultimately,
Yeah.
the personality I think is still me as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's really the art of developing your commentary style so that it is you, but it's you while recording.
Yes. Yes. But see, I don't behave the same way with my good friends and with just someone I know out in public.
Absolutely.
And then it's the same distinction between being recorded and not being recorded. And with my really good friends, I can be myself. There is no censoring at all, and I'm just myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do that in my videos. Some of the videos, for example, when there's been a 2-week hiatus because I had stuff for university to do and didn't have time to record, and then the first video afterwards, I was very conscious about, oh, I'm recording again, and then I wasn't I was a bit stiff, and but in my mind, when I do videos, I'm kind of talking to myself,
Yeah.
not necessarily to an audience. Maybe you can even hear it in my commentary, but that way I'm not censoring myself, and I'm just being. But you're true. It's true what you said, that you are kind of playing. You're kind of trying to play yourself.
Right.
Right. And I mean, that's kind of why I pointed out it's getting into sort of philosophical territory, you know, talking about social masks and all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of a much larger discussion than is appropriate for a Let's Play podcast, I think.
Right. But I understand what you mean, and you know, it makes perfect sense. It's psychological, so you are portraying. It's almost like the Matrix, like what they say in the Matrix. It's your what does he call it? Digital
Oh,
self-image.
your ideal self or whatever.
Yeah, like what you think you
Mhm.
look like. You know, what you look like to yourself. So you know, Neo's got hair, and you know, so
Yeah.
it's sort of similar type of thing, I think.
Good
Mm.
analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it.
How do you think the type of game influences the Let's Plays? I've recently noticed that I've been doing Let's Play series of Nuclear Throne, and Nuclear Throne is a procedurally generated game where you have short runs. I think the longest run is about half an hour or so that I had, a single run. And the good thing is that if I have an off day and I do recording, I can just delete it and do it again. But if you're doing a sequential stuff, something with story, and you have an off day and the recording isn't so good, you're kind of stuck. I mean, if you have save games, you can
Yeah, especially games
redo
with
that?
auto saving.
Oh,
yeah.
man. Like Bloodborne. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, how do you feel about that? The type of game influencing the Let's Play, and what type of game are you currently recording?
Well, I've definitely noticed a difference since I've played, you know, a few different types of games. You know, like I said, the Portal 2 Let's Play, that was just immensely different from any other experience that I've had with Let's Playing, just because it's really, really narratively heavy.
Mhm.
And so, you know, you're constantly pausing to let the other, I guess, the narrative play and let the characters speak.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know, it sort of interrupts your thought processes. And then on top of that, it's a puzzle game, so you're trying to think really hard about how to solve the puzzles and keep talking at the same time.
Yep.
And so that's a challenge in itself. And, yeah, it's vastly different from trying to play, you know, like a platformer or something.
Mm.
And I think actually that's probably why Minecraft is such a popular game to Let's Play, because you know it's got sort of that mindless aspect to it, you know, just mining deeper and deeper into the earth or doing a repetitive build project or things like that. It sort of gives you space to actually think and speak.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
confess, I don't know anything about Minecraft, and I had like my cousin's. I don't know what the relation would be. My cousin's son loves watching Minecraft Let's Plays, and so I was like, well, here's a perfect avenue, you know, into like someone who knows me, or like at least, you know, some affiliation, to watch me play a game. But I was like, that means I have to buy Minecraft, and like I have to learn what it is and like become part of this almost cult, you know. Like I feel like that's how the Minecraft players are, is like you either play Minecraft or you don't play Minecraft, and I don't play it. I don't know anything about it, and I'm honestly scared to, because I have a very addictive personality, and I don't want to get caught up in this thing that I can never leave, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I've been calling it Minecraft.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think
That's
pretty
perfect.
much everybody has.
We had a server with friends, and he stuck, I don't know, 300 hours of play on there. I think Minecraft is to the newer generations what Pokemon was to our generation. Everyone plays it. All of the kids, they talk about it at school, go home, watch some videos, and then play it themselves.
Right.
And it's just the new thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy too, because Pokemon was my life, and the cards and everything. I played the Game Boy game, watched the anime.
Oh yeah,
everything Pokemon. That's what I did. Well, the first original 150 though, like any Pokemon that's above
there you go.
150 doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Not to date myself.
151, buddy. 151.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. What was it, Mewtwo, or was it missing number? Which one are you counting?
I was going with Mew and Mewtwo.
Mew and Mewtwo, yeah.
Yeah, that missing, I guess that would be 152. But
Yeah, that's fair.
God, the hours spent trying to get that fucking glitch. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that was grand. You know, I think I saw Minecraft back when it wasn't popular yet. It was it only had the creative mode, and I didn't think much of it. I just thought, it's a 3D pixel 3D pixel painter, because all you could do is just place differently colored cubes, and there was nothing else. There wasn't even water, no gravity, just just cubes. And then years later, people sent me a link again, just some friend that was happy, and he said, "Hey, look, have you seen this? It looks pretty cool." And you already had the survivability, the crafting stuff. There were trees, and you could craft things, and so, and it was pretty interesting with the being able to play the alpha and the beta. That was new back then.
Yeah, see where it went.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd have to say Minecraft kind of broke the gaming model.
Yes, it did.
Everyone wants to get into pre-release now, and nobody can seem to quite match that level of success.
Yeah.
Yep. You see everything on Steam Greenlight, and it gets hyped. Everything gets hyped up, and sometimes it turns out great, and sometimes it's not as good.
Yeah, it's rare. I mean, stuff like Kerbal Space Program is fantastic, and Nuclear Throne is also still considered in early access, even though it's more or less a complete game. They just keep adding content to it. But there's so much early access crap out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even look at games when they say it's still in early access. I'm thinking, call me when it's finished.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not to mention all the ones that get released in early access and then don't finish.
But you know what? That's a good trick to get into, to get a bunch of, I don't want to call it cheap views, but that's a good way to get into a bunch of quick views, at least to your channel. If you play a game, Yandori Simulator, I think is what it's called. There's a guy who's like making it, and my wife was really pressuring me, like, hey, you should download what this guy has already and start playing it. You should put it out there because people are really talking about it. People are really into it, and if you can get a lot of traffic to your channel just by making that game. And unfortunately, I didn't do it, so I feel like I've missed the tipping point. So now I just got to keep my ear to the ground and see what the next one is.
Well, it's also important to note that even the big channels keep on top of that stuff too. They play the small new games as they come out as well. I mean, every once in a while you can find that little niche that you can slide in and fill the open, fill a space there. But
sometimes I feel that it's just like in school where people start talking about movies and games just because people are talking about this particular movie and this particular game. It's popular because it's popular, this kind of feedback loop. And there was sometimes I see a bunch of big YouTubers cover the same game, and why is that coincidence? It didn't have a release or something like this. It was, for example, Hand of Fate is an interesting game in early access, and it's still not quite interesting to let's play in my opinion.
Right.
But all of it, I mean, and it has been in early access for more than a year probably, and then all of a sudden, like all of the YouTube channels that I have been following for game coverage did a video on it. And it made me check out the game again. Okay, they added a lot of content, but it's still not polished to a place where I wanna let's play it. And they didn't critique it or anything. They just wanted to make a video on it because people were making a video on it.
Yeah,
it's the way I see it. It's not necessarily that way, but it kind of feels like these popularity feedback loops that were there in school.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've definitely noticed that too. I mean, it seems like things sort of follow waves of popularity, even if there's no real root cause. It's just somebody made a video and suddenly everyone else is making videos just in response.
Yep.
But you were going to say something, Phil?
No, I think I was just going to sort of piggyback on that with it being, you see one guy play it and then you see, a handful of other people play, like some of the big names, but even some of the smaller ones too. But I can't think of a game offhand, but it was very much like that Yandori Simulator. You watch one guy play it, and then like Cinnamon Toast Ken's playing it, and so everyone sort of jumps on it, and then you got to wonder, like, as far as I can tell, they all uploaded the video within a day or two of each other. So, where did they all hear about it, and where do I go to hear about it? You know what I mean? Whatever the game may be.
Yeah, what line do they have that I'm not following? So I just kind of want to bring this up. It's a little bit of a non sequitur, but I've noticed, on the Reddit Let's Play community, one thing that really, really seems to be taken a little too seriously, I think, is hardware.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's just constantly obsessing about what mic they should buy, what
Yeah.
capture card, what, anything.
Right.
And at least in terms of microphones, it really seems to be less about what microphone you use and more how you set it up to use it the right way.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I really want to make that point strongly because I have been using a Guitar Hero microphone, a $15 USB Logitech mic,
Really? Are
the
you using it right now?
entirety of... Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Wow.
The entire time. And it rolled around in the trunk of my car for 3 years growing mold.
Mm-hmm.
So the quality of your hardware, it can be important, but it's oftentimes a lot less important than you think.
Yeah, I think you're onto
Totally.
a right track there, and I think here's the thing: it's what everybody says, but nobody wants to hear it. Like, so at risk of alienating myself and getting the whole hive mind after that other Phil, I'm gonna say that I don't think the quality of your video. You have high well, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. You have high production value, and that's fine, and you can strive for that, and that's good. But I think it's at the root of what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be a good Let's Player, and you have to have good commentary and good content. I think that is significantly more. As long as your microphone, as long as you can be heard, and the game's not echoing, and if you use a webcam, as long as they can see your face and it's clear, I don't think you have anything else to worry about. As long as this stuff works, then it works, and everything else is on you. And part of me thinks that people want to shift away from that and focus on the hardware and like use that almost as a crutch. Like, oh, my microphone's not good, that's why my video's not good. Well, in reality, your video's not good because you didn't say anything. Whether your microphone worked or not, you didn't speak. So ultimately, I think it comes down to like a barrier between them and accountability. And I just think that's how I look at it. Like, I have good stuff, but I didn't always have good stuff, and I certainly don't have the best stuff. But I like to think that my videos are still good, and they're at least semi-entertaining. And the reason I watch you guys, the reason I watch any Let's Player, is not because of the high quality stuff. Like, you look at Jenna Marbles on YouTube, and she has a webcam on like her laptop or something. You know what I mean? And now it's good. But like her first videos, it was decent. But it was Jenna Marbles that made Jenna Marbles funny. It was whatever it is, and that's honestly, that's my opinion. That's at the root of it, and that's what you need first before you have high quality equipment.
Yeah, totally. I heard Total Biscuit say on a podcast that new YouTubers should not buy a Blue Yeti because you can very easily fuck the recording up. There's so many settings that you can just set wrongly, and you can very easily get bad recordings with a Yeti. And I have been hearing people ask about help with their sound, and they do have a Yeti and they do sound shitty. And I did even recorded. There is this Zalman clip-on mic that's even less than $10. I think it cost $6. And I recorded some samples with it, put it on my SoundCloud, and I think this is good enough for Let's Play. I made it sound good. It's all about how you set it up, and obviously about what you're talking about. Look at all of the big YouTubers. The first videos, they had shitty quality, or Kriparian even. He doesn't have 1080p video because he uses a lot of footage from him streaming, and it's all about the content. People watch his videos because he had interesting stuff to say about the games. He had I think he had the world first Diablo kill on nightmare difficulty or something like this.
Oh wow.
And stuff like that. Yeah, his motto is no life, because he has no life and plays all day, and he really did play for 12 hours a day for months at the beginning.
Wow.
I mean, he doesn't do that anymore. He still streams a lot. He does work a lot. I mean, he lives from it full time. But people watch for the content and not. The quality is necessary, yeah, sure, but I think it's right what you said. People use the technology as a crutch because everyone is insecure at some point somewhere for something.
Yep,
it's normal.
Yep, and not everyone can be sort of creative in the way that I think the larger channels probably were in order to get as big as they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that fostering a sense of confidence in yourself and just working on your own abilities
Right. It's
more than
almost
anything. That
not to use this against you, but it's almost like an infinite spiral. So when you start with the negativity, you just go down this endless, negative, self-defeating
Yeah.
road, and it's hard to get out of it. And it doesn't have to be for Let's Playing. It could be with any aspect of your life. You know what I mean? You get self-conscious, and you convince yourself you're not good enough, and you defeat yourself, and then everything just starts working against you because you just let it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. A
And
lot of
that's-
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
A lot of stuff is in your mind, and I've seen this a lot with programmers who try to make games, and they think of themselves, I am this technical person, I am not a creative person, I cannot do anything that is creative. They say this to themselves in their heads, and this is what is holding them back. It's not true that they're not creative. They don't even try because they think they can't.
Yeah.
And
It's
this is a
self-conscious,
quintessential thing. Yes.
Yep. And that's part of one of the double meanings in my name. It's sort of the duality of the spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to spiral in or out, down or up?
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. That's philosophical.
Anyway, sorry.
No problem at all.
No. All right, so I don't know. Have you guys done reviews?
No,
Not technically.
Would you guys do reviews?
I probably won't ever do a review.
I did do
Why
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, well, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I might do a tutorial or something along those lines, but I don't know. I have a sort of a personal philosophy of trying to take the middle path in life. I don't like to judge things, whether good or bad. I mean, I don't mean to take the, high road and be a douchebag about it, but
I'm with you there, though. Like, I don't want to bash a product, because people take that stuff to heart. And I can play a game that, in my opinion, is shitty, but I can still, appreciate it for what it is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess it's the same thing if I eat at a restaurant and I didn't enjoy the meal. I don't talk to the manager. I just don't go there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like if a game is good enough that you're going to keep playing it and recording your experiences in it, that's sort of a review in itself. It's showing that you enjoy it. That's the positive review.
Right.
Whereas a negative review is just going to be you not playing it.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah, but it's also a little bit about people spending money on products before they know, and that's one part of YouTube that I always liked, that I can hear other people's thoughts about the games, and it's information for me to know whether I would enjoy the game, whether I should buy it, and also a little bit educational when I think about the game's design and what aspect of it is good, what aspect of it is bad. And I agree with you that doing a long Let's Play series of a game is a review of it itself. There's no point in me doing a review of Nuclear Throne because you can just see by the number of videos that I enjoy the fuck out of this game.
Right.
But I do enjoy watching negative reviews of games. Not just because I enjoy bashing, but just because I enjoy deconstructing the medium and seeing which aspect works and which doesn't, and how maybe it could be made to work and stuff like this. And so I have done one review so far. I've done also an audio review. I didn't want to do a video for it. And it was this guy who gave links to his game. It was a Pivot. I didn't like it much. He gave out links on the Let's Play subreddit, which was keys for the game, which was very, very nice of him. And I felt a little bit bad about doing a negative review because it's an indie guy. It was like one guy with a couple of friends, and I don't know whether it was his first game, but it kind of felt bad to give him a negative review. But on the other hand, why should they get special treatment compared to everyone else who also spends their lifeblood on doing the games? And
does it better.
I think... Excuse me?
Like if someone else does it the same way and they do it better,
Yeah.
I get you.
And it's also feedback, everyone wants feedback on the Let's Play subreddit. People are even asking for negative feedback. So because it is constructive and they can get better. And if, I don't know the guy, but if he's not involved with his ego, which is unlikely, but if he doesn't take it personally, he can grow and make a better game next time from a negative review if he doesn't just get grumpy because of it.
Yeah, that's true. There is definitely value in a negative review if the person is receptive to seeing the actual critical, things that are being pointed out, the things that they can improve on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As long as it's not just shitting all over it.
Right.
Yeah, there's no point in that.
Yeah.
I did play. There was I don't even know where I heard of it actually. Now that I think about it, it must have been on Twitter. It was a game called Beyond Flesh and Blood, and so I did a video of it. I found them on there, and they sent me the game through Dropbox, and then they sent me like an email. The email acted as permission to publish it and use the. They even sent me a bunch of logos I can use. So I played that, and to be honest, like the game itself, I liked the game. I think if I were to critique it, I would say it's just not my style. Like I don't know that I would necessarily buy it, but ultimately. I did enjoy it. There was one particular part, and I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but there's like this siren that goes in the background when someone's like breaking into your base, and the siren is just so damn loud, and I couldn't focus on anything, and I didn't know what was causing it. There was no tutorial yet that said, hey, look, this sound means this, and I actually had to pull my phone up and like follow the Twitter feed because they were talking about me playing because I was streaming it live as well. And so they're talking about it. They're like, man, he's got to do this thing to shut that damn sound off. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I went and I did it, and finally it was quiet. So, but they were the developers. And so it would, like, to watch the developers talk about me playing their game, it was like I was on cloud nine, you know what I mean? And apparently, like through their dialogue, they were on cloud nine watching somebody play their game. And so I've had a lot of interaction with them back and forth, like a couple of the individual guys. One guy's name is actually Phil, but I'm the other one. So so I had a lot of back and forth with them, and it was actually really fun. And I think the game, if it's not complete yet, it's almost complete. So I think I might download the uploads or the updates and play it again. But that was the first real experience I had playing, some indie developers. Their baby, you know what I mean? And I wanted to treat it well. I wanted, because it's theirs, and they were giving me this, limited access. And so I wanted to, sort of take care of it. I didn't want to bash it and anything like that. But ultimately, I mean, it was really good. They did a really good job with it. And I'm very eager to actually see the finished product, because I guess apparently they turned the volume down on that annoying siren.
Yeah, it definitely seems like another one of those sort of positive feedback loops, you feeding on them and them feeding on you.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yep. And it definitely worked for a while.
It can be a really good relationship, yeah. That's
sort of what this is, though, if you think about it. Because Dan, to be honest, like if it weren't for Econael, I'd never have heard of you. I troll around Reddit. I stay more away from Reddit now. I think like there's a mindset there that doesn't exist on Damn Lag, and I think I like because Damn Lag is actually involved and the people there are involved. But if it weren't for Econael inviting me to do this this podcast, I don't know that I'd have ever heard your name, and Felix as well. It's even though I couldn't be in here, but it works, and that's what collaborating is about. So now I went and watched your videos. I subbed to you, and I like your stuff. And now, here we are. Whether we ever communicate with each other again or not, who knows? But ultimately, at
least we have this line of communication open.
Yeah, and if somebody says, "Hey, have you heard of this guy?" Yeah, I have, and you should watch his stuff. I like it. You'll like it.
That's another thing that was surprising about doing Let's Plays. Before, I had only subbed to mostly big channels and a handful of small channels that were just game developers putting out videos of their games, video updates of their development once in a while. But now I have a couple of smaller Let's Play channels that do really good content. They're just small because people don't know about them.
Right.
And I really enjoy the content and I like it. Yeah.
Like us.
Yes, I do like your stuff, and I do watch your videos.
Right, the only reason, my opinion is, there's a lot of people out there, and everyone does a pretty good job ultimately, and for the most part, for the quality stuff, like once you spend the money, it's easy. All of a sudden, your stuff is high quality. It's it's what you say in it. But I think like if every channel had the avenue to like get to the mainstream, then a lot of them would get huge. It's just because a lot of them are really good. And you see a lot of these people, and you're like, damn, like these guys are. You look at them sometimes as competition. You know what I mean? Like, well, holy shit, like I didn't know, that was even possible. And then when you start to change that was a mindset
that I had to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's absolutely what you're saying. Exactly what I'm saying. That mindset you're in, like, oh, these are all like everyone on this Let's Play Reddit is my competitor, and like I can't. Yeah. I'm just gonna give terrible advice so that I can watch them like crash into the reef. But ultimately, it's really not. You know, if one person makes it, then everyone that you've associated with, like, you sort of wind up accidentally coming along for the ride. You know, grabbing onto coattails, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, ultimately, it's gonna. You know, it doesn't have to be a thing. Like, I'm not trying to get a million subs and make millions of dollars. I enjoy it, and I think what I enjoy more is this interaction. You know, like being able to do a podcast with you guys and sit and chit chat with you guys. Where if I
Yeah.
decided not to do Let's Plays, I'd have never heard of you two, and I wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I really, really enjoy doing most of the videos that I do and learning new stuff and interacting. And Dan actually reached out to me because I don't know. I think you saw my stuff on
Yeah, it
on
was.
the Reddit.
Yeah, you responded to someone about an audio question, and you had it was just an audio file on SoundCloud that you had linked, and I heard the really high quality, sound that you had
Mhm.
from your mic and the, nice, silky smooth voice.
Nice.
My
And,
radio voice that I don't use all the time.
yeah, but
And
yeah, I just reached out and tried to do a sort of a cross promotion kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is
yeah.
because I'd reached a point where I felt like I was at least comfortable enough to try and start growing,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah, I was.
extend the olive branch, so to speak.
Yeah, that was a really nice gesture. Thank you for that. And I saw your stuff. I saw that it was high quality, and it was really. I think it was the style that you reached, the way that you reached out to me. It wasn't needy. It was just intelligent and coming from a good place. And I'm actually glad that most of my friends, they cheer me on, but they don't want to talk about every nitty gritty detail of
Yeah.
Let's Playing. And it's nice to have you to share everything that happens with this hobby with you. And so yeah, this is this community that people keep talking about. Find a bunch of people that you like, that you generally enjoy the content of, reach out to them, make connections, because the Let's Play subreddit has over 16,000 subscribers. You cannot, I mean, there's this number of 150 people that you can have a relationship with, because the neocortex of our brains isn't made for
Right.
having more relationship at a time.
Otherwise
And
known as the monkey sphere.
yes, exactly. And I think this is one of the issues with the subreddit, because it turns pretty impersonal pretty quickly, because you don't, you have to be super active to see the same names over and over again. And when in the link dump posts, you see just some strangers. And to really enjoy the hobby, I think you need to just make some friends.
Yeah.
Or else you can feel super alone in a sea of 16,000 people who try to do the same.
Right.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. And it really has been a good experience for building, community, building relationships and friendships with people.
Yep.
That was something I didn't see coming.
Me neither.
Or people that know the bumps in the road. You know, it's like,
Yes.
oh, you know what? I'm not the only one that happened to, and I'm not the only one that felt that way about this, and
Exactly.
so it's nice to have like a legitimate community, as long as you're in the right thread.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to wrap this up. I encourage everyone to check out the channels of Infinite Spiral and ThatOtherPhil. I'm going to put the descriptions in the description box below. Thanks a lot for listening. Thanks a lot for joining Phil and Dan.
Anytime.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm glad we could make this work across time zones.
Indeed.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, and bye.
See ya.
Take care now.
So
All
now,
right,
what do we
so-
all like sign out, or because I don't know how to like
Yeah,
I want to hug it out because like I love you guys, but I don't know how to do that through here.